Hey Chuckleheads, welcome back to Space Engineers. Going to continue where we left off. Actually not really where we left off, a little bit farther because I've done some things. But, there's a whole lot to this game. It does take a lot of time to get stuff going. So there's going to be a lot of behind the scenes things where I'm just sitting there mining stuff, building a few extra infrastructure things so that we can move on to the more interesting stuff. For instance, I built some extra wind generators for power because we need to get a lot of power. I've got a battery here that I've built to help power some of the things that are going on. I also put some solar panels in so that when it's daytime I'll get more power into charging these batteries. And you'll notice I've done some digging. In the last video I commented how I would modify this because I originally just had it just straight out and down. And I said, I'll probably put a rotor on here and then an extension to where I can actually swing it around and extend it out and get to more spots. And I did. And it worked. And it's wonderful. It's awesome. I also put in a control panel because not right now, but before, the only way to control this thing was to go in here, hit this control panel, and then I would have to individually click on the drills. So I would click one, shift click to get all of those, manually turn them on. Then I would have to go down here to my pistons, and then I would have to turn them on one by one. And I like to have the rotor going on the bottom so that I can get it to work. And it's like, okay, that's fine, it works, but it's not very efficient. So what I decided to do is change things a little bit. Okay, let's turn these off. Let's drills, turn them off. Let's take my bottom rotor, turn that off. Let's take that, reverse that, reverse that, reverse that. Let's put everything back to where it started from. And while that's resetting itself, I'm going to show you a couple other things I've been doing. Like I said, I need cobalt to make more stuff, better stuff. And there is no cobalt around here that I can tell, because I did a little bit of mining in here. That was my old mining tunnel. I've got it blocked off so I don't actually fall in. Oh yeah, by the way, I died. I accidentally fell into this hole once when I was trying to rebuild this arm. And fell down there, and it's kind of a, steep fall. And I died when I hit the bottom. Surprise, surprise. But one of the interesting things is when you die, you respawn at a survival kit. And you can go back to where you died and just pick up all the stuff that was in your inventory. No great loss. But I need to find more cobalt, and it's not here, so I'm going to need to travel. I can't use that because I need the cobalt to make the engines work. Oh, and I put the solar panels on there because the battery on that was dead, so I put those on there so it can recharge. It's going to take a long, long time because those are small solar panels. They're not going to get a lot of power. And it's starting to become nighttime, and they don't get energy when the sun's down. And there's no way that I know of that I can connect that to my main base here to connect power. There's no real flexible system that you can do. Everything has to be connected by blocks. It's kind of like an advanced Minecraft sort of thing. Everything is in squares. And that's sitting at an angle. That's not nice and neat. So I need a way to travel where I can go exploring. Oh, look, you can see the shadows moving as the sun goes down. That's cool. So I need a way to explore and find the cobalt. So I need to make a truck. So that's what I'm doing here. It's partially complete. You can see I've got the tires, and it is a monster-sized truck. It actually turned out a lot bigger than I thought it would. And I was trying to figure out, why is it so big? Why are these tires so big? Why is it taking so many resources to build this thing? And then I realized, well, you've got two different sizes that you can make things. For instance, here's my base. You see all these crate things here that I'm building on? You can make them different sizes. Like here's that size there. But if I hit that same number, because I got a key 4 in my little hot bar down there, so if I hit the 4 again, it makes a small version. If I hit again, it goes big, small, big, small, big, small. Well, the funny thing is, when you connect to one that's already there, it automatically goes to the same size. And I can't connect a small one to a big one. Or if there is a way, I don't know what it is. I'll have to do some research, Google some stuff, and find out. But it will not connect. Like, I can build that on there, but it won't be connected. It won't be part of the structure. It'll just be this loose piece laying around that will basically fall off. So whenever you connect something, it's going to be the same structure level as the thing is connected to. So since I connected this to my base was off of big blocks, all the pieces of the truck are big block pieces, which meant the tires are big block tires. Because you can make different size tires. These are 3x3 grid size, I think they call them. If I go to my thing here is wheel suspension 3x3 right, and there's a 3x3 left. There's a left side and a right side. They don't really make much of a difference from what I hear. The only real difference is if you use the left and right, the treads will be facing the right way, so it will look normal. If you just choose to make right sides all the way around, it'll work, but the tires on one side will look like they're spinning backwards, or some weird thing like that. So, but you have different sizes of those. So let's say I have here's the suspension bracket. That's big size. Here's the suspension bracket for a small size version of it. Now you'll see though it doesn't actually have the wheel on it. But when you actually take the bracket and attach it to the frame, the wheel will pop on. Now it's not going to do it here because I don't have the resources in my inventory, but it will actually self-create the wheel. Now you have to build the wheel in addition to it. Like I can actually put this on and have no wheel attached, but it will if you have room for it. Like if I put this up here and rotate it. Nope, let's rotate it that way. Which way do I want it? Nope. That. Ah, come on. Spin the way I want, not the way I'm telling you. There we go. Is that the way I want it? Nope, there we go. So if I was to put this here, there's no wheel right now, but if it's high enough up, it will actually self-populate a wheel attached to it. Which is why, when you make things like this, you have to put it up in the air. That's why I'm not building this on the ground. It's actually being built up in the air. Like this. I have to come up from the base, out over, and then build this frame. Because if I try to do this on the ground, first of all, the ground is not level. And the blocks want to be level. So there would be some conflict there. The second thing that would happen is, if I tried to build this on the ground, let's say I started the blocks here at ground level, and then I put this on, it would do one of two things. It would either A, not build this because it would say there's no room, there's no space, or it would build it into the ground, and that would turn it into a station instead of a vehicle. And so the computer, the program, would see this as a solid stationary thing instead of a vehicle that can move. So in order to have it register as a vehicle, I mean right now it actually is registered as a station because it's attached to the station, but as soon as I disconnect it, because it's not built into the ground, it would be registered then as a vehicle. So it's not complete, so I'm going to finish building it. I got these tires here to do, and I've got the cockpit here. I've got a battery that's pretty much charged, and I've also got here an ore sensor. Now I have an ore sensor on the little escape pod thing over here, but it's a small version, and it only has a 50-meter range. This one, because it's a large block version, has a 150-meter range. So as I'm driving around, hopefully I have a better chance of finding something. But first, let's go get some materials. What am I going to need to do this? Oh, there is one thing I want to do, because the tires, everything is labeled, like all the pieces that are connected. So you can look at all the things, like here's the tires, and it's telling me here's the right side tires, they're done. Here's the left side tires, they're not done. Here's all the wind turbines. Here's everything connected to my base. And I can control it from pretty much anywhere that's connected to the base. Now, once I disconnect from the base, all the base stuff is just going to disappear, and I'm only going to have the truck stuff on this list. But it says here's right side 1 and right side 2, but I don't know which one's the front tire and which one's the back tire, because you can do different things with them. Like here's the tires. I can turn the tires on and off to where they will run versus not run. I can rename them. I can make it a steering wheel. By that I mean when I turn, it will be a tire that actually helps in the turning, like an all-wheel steering sort of thing. It can be a tire that actually is a four-wheel drive tire, where it will actually move because the engine is making it moving. I can make it a brake tire. I can put air shocks on it to where it will help absorb impact. I don't know why you wouldn't want to have that. And you can do some other things like changing how much steering, the angle of the wheels will turn, how much power they would have, the height offset, so you can like jack it up or drop it down if you really want to, how much friction it will have, climbing up slopes and things like that, the speed limit. There's lots of things you can do, lots of parameters you can change. So some of them you may want to say, I want these as steering tires versus I want these as driving tires. Because, again, this game does model physics. So if you drive this and it's not stable and you take a turn really sharply, you can flip it. And that can be bad. Because I don't know that you can get it back normal. You pretty much have to tear it apart and rebuild it. So flipping is bad. Flipping is bad. So you kind of want to make sure it's stable. So steering and mass, you really don't want to like overload it. Balancing is important. If you put too much stuff in the front or too much stuff in the back and it's not balanced, it will tip over. So lots of things that you have to really pay attention to when you're building. You have to, think about what you're doing. Think about the weight. Think about the mass. Think about keeping things balanced and how much speed and force is being applied to things. So what I want to do is I'm actually going to tear this down a little bit because I want to figure out which one is the front tire, which one's the back tire. So I can label them. It didn't. Okay, that didn't work. I need to do the actual suspension. Alright, let's put that back on. And let's... Can I reach the suspension there? Alright, so suspension is non-functional. So if I go back in, I should now have, yep, there we go. So that's the front. It says number 2 because that was the second one I built. But this is the right front wheel suspension. Okay, that makes this the right rear. Suspension. Okay. Why is that important? Well, like I said, I'm going to need to know which ones I might need to change versus, which ones I want to keep as steering versus driving and those sorts of things. So that way I can label now. I'm going to need to figure out what am I going to need for this. Do I have enough space to get to that? Come on, hello, where are you? There you are. So I need small tubes, big tubes, construction components, plates, and motors. So I need lots of stuff. These things, because they're big block versions of them, they take a lot of stuff. And that's why I need the big mining thing, because I need to mine lots of resources to get all the stuff. So let's take some of those. I know I need some of those. I know I need some of those. I don't think I need those. But I need some of those. Oh, and I needed motors. Hopefully that's enough. Because you are very limited in what you can carry. Oh, I can do the top. Can I? Yeah, I can come in from the backside here and get this one. Okay. And then let me go around to the cockpit and I have to label that as the rear, so I know which one's which. So, left side number 2 is left rear. I should change that name so they're all together. Suspension, right rear. I'm just going to abbreviate this. Wheel, suspension, right front. Okay. This one here is wheel, suspension, left rear. And this is going to be wheel, suspension, left front. There we go. Wheel, suspension, right front, right rear, left rear. Okay. Now let's go finish the other one. I need to do the tire. Tire needs kind of the same things. So I'm going to need some more tubing. Maybe some more. For some reason, steel plate and metal tubing makes a rubber tire. I'm not sure how that works, but it does. So steel plates, steel tubes, construction components. Yep, got enough. Now we can go do this one. And then need to get some more construction components and motors. Am I going to be able to reach them? And plates, construction components, motors. Plates, motors, construction components. Oops, down here. Okay. Now that should be finished. It's not completely finished because the cockpit needs some bulletproof glass, and the same thing with the solar panel that I put on the back to help it stay charged while I'm driving around during the day. I mean, obviously it's not going to help stay charged during nighttime because there's no sun, but it'll help reduce the amount of charging that I need to do. And this is one of the problems that I noticed as I was thinking about it, because this is battery charged, battery powered. Right now, it is getting charged through these connectors because they have some built-in electricity cabling and all this sort of stuff in it. As soon as I disconnect, this vehicle is no longer connected to these, and I can't charge it. So if I run the battery dry, I have no way of reconnecting to this power source. There is, however, this thing, a connector, that if I build this on there and then build another one here, if I can connect this connector to a vehicle connector, it will charge. The problem is my base is on a hill, and so the vehicle, if it's laying on the hill, will be severely slanted and is not going to line up with connectors. So it's going to be kind of awkward, but I think what's probably going to have to do is I'm going to have to build like a parking spot where I can drive up and park and somehow get the connectors lined up to connect it to the base power. That's the only thing I can think of right now of doing that because of just the way this is set up. The other thing I was thinking of is right now, if I go out and I go exploring around and I actually do find some cobalt, let's say, the only way to drill it is with my hand drill. And that's not going to be very efficient. So I thought, well, what if I put one of these onto this? Then I can drill at the location, and that would be, you know, moderately effective, I guess, somewhat. But then I started thinking, well, first of all, this is a large block vehicle, which means we have to use the large block pistons and the large block drill, which means it's going to be very heavy, which means I'm going to have to make this bigger and longer, and that's going to take a lot of resources, which is not going to be very efficient. And I don't have a cargo container that I can put on here, because cargo containers require cobalt to build. So I won't be able to store very many materials, even if I put the big drill on here. So not going to be very effective. I just thought of something. Is my truck battery... No, okay, it's not. I was afraid my truck battery was draining into my base battery, but it isn't. That's good. Okay. So, I was thinking I could put a drill on the truck, but then I realized that would actually not work. It would be really impractical. So, I'm basically just going to have to... Where's that light coming from? That's weird. Where's that light? Oh, is that the... No, that's just some weird... Where's this light coming from? I don't know. It's weird. Now it's gone. Okay, whatever. But it would just be impractical. It's not going to work. So I'm not going to do that. I'm just going to have to hand drill for a little bit, bring the stuff back. Then maybe I can finish this with some cobalt. And then fly this around and turn this into a flying drill platform that I can drill into the ground, store in the ship, and then fly back and dump it off, and then go back and drill, come back, dump it off, go back and drill, come back, dump it off, and maybe do it that way. That seems to be the best thing. Oh, the other thing I was going to show you was, as I was saying, the real slow part, not the slow part, but one of the really awkward part was trying to control this using this here in the control panel and trying to do each thing independently and individually. And I was like, that's just too slow. So they do have control panels that you can make, and you have 4 buttons, and you can program these buttons to do things, but they can only do one thing. So you can't set up and say, hey, button number 1, I want you to do this task, then this task, then this task in this order. It's not going to do it. It's only going to do one thing and one thing only. So I'm going to put one task, then a second task, then a third task, then a fourth task. Okay. So what I did is I went in here and I took all my drills and I made them into a group. So there's one group because you can only do one thing with these buttons. But if I have a group, I can have it do one thing with that group. And that works. So I can make all the drills into a group, and I can punch it in here and say, okay, all the drills turn on or turn off. So I can set this to groups, drills, and I can say turn on or off, or just turn on, or just turn off, or, you know, just some different things that you can do with them. I also put the control arms, the extenders, into a group so that when I hit their button, they would start working. And I put a button for the rotator there so that while it's running, it's also spinning the drills around in a circle. Does it make a difference? No, not really. I don't think it makes it more efficient. I think it just makes it look cooler when they spin in circles while they're drilling, because the drills spin in circles, and then you have the whole assembly spinning in a circle, and it just looks pretty cool. So, I'm going to move the drill to a new section over here. So I'm going to, I do have to actually come back. No, I can just use this control panel because it's connected. Now I'm going to go to the top rotor, because this is the one that swings the arm around, and I'm going to change its location to, not 3, I want it at 0, and want that one at 0, and we want to go the other way. Which way is it going? Nope, wrong direction. Top rotor. Reverse. There we go. I mean, it can swing around. It is extended enough that it would actually pass over everything and not run into stuff, but yeah, direction of travel makes a difference. You can have it turning a positive direction, in which case it goes this way. If I have it spin a negative direction, it would go the other way. Now, is that where I want it? I said 0. That's not 0. Top rotor. Oh, that's still at 315. So let's make this 0. There it goes. That, and you can see it moved really, really fast. It does model torque and forces, so why did it move so fast? I don't like it moving so fast because it makes me think it's going to break when it makes those really, really fast turns and then stops. Is there rotor displacement? No, that's not what I want. How fast it will torque. Oh, well, let's change that. How fast it will accelerate. Let's cut that in like half. Let's just make that a nice 10. Okay. Now, it's in position over some dirt. I'm probably going to miss this chunk here, maybe. I'll probably get most of it. It might leave a little bit behind, but that's okay. It'll look kind of funky, but it'll be alright. Okay, so now that it's in position, I'll just go over here, hit button 1, hit button 2, hit button 3, and it just starts running all on its own. The extension arms do their thing. The drills do their thing. The rotor does its thing. Yeah, he's going to leave a little bit of a lip here. Like a little mini sculpture thing. And there it goes. And it's just going to do that all the way down. And you can see here, the drills are filling up with stuff, and it's going to the refinery. The refinery is processing it as much as it can, because it does tend to get loaded. I do have space issues right now. I don't have a lot of space, which is why I need to get that cobalt so I can make more storage containers. Oh, that's a problem. That's a problem. That's a problem. Because what I need are these metal grids, and metal grids require cobalt. Oh, I also need silver sometime eventually. Okay. Magnesium at some point. And it's still going down. Look at that. Look at that little tiny snake of rock just standing there. One of the other things I need to find is ice, which shouldn't be too hard because there's snowy mountains over there, so there should be ice over there. But I need ice because I'm running out of hydrogen for my jetpack to fly around. I don't have any more hydrogen, so I can't fly around anymore. So that's going to make it a little bit difficult. Okay, so it looks like it's all done. Let's just check and see. Extension 10 meters, extension 10 meters. Alright, so it's all done. So I just go back, click the buttons again. And it comes back all on its own. Everything turned off down there, and the extenders retract or extend, depending on what they're supposed to do. And it's pretty much almost automatic. I mean, I just have to push 3 buttons. I mean, once I get this lined up, so I have to do a little bit of, you know, turn here, extend out here, and then boom, boom, boom. And it takes care of itself. Alright, so let's see. Do I need to do anything more with this? Building it wise. I don't think so. I think it's ready. So I'm going to take all this stuff out of the way. Alright. And then come up here. And we'll disconnect it and see how it works. Oops, I didn't mean to fall. Let's roll in a bit. You're not supposed to be rolling. Alright, there we go. Put the brakes on. Dampeners? Do I have dampeners? Oh well. Alright, oh, I forgot to put lights on this thing. Whoa. it's very, very touchy. Oop, knocked a tree over. Get out of my way, tree. Get out of my way. Alright. Very, very touchy. Very, very, very touchy. But it works. It works. Alright. Now, so, let's go back up a little bit. Take the brake off. Then stop there. So I need to put headlights on it. That's one thing. Oops. What else? Need to work on the steering and driving. I think the power is too high. And the steering, I don't know. We'll figure that out. So let me figure out, can I make lights? Can I make lights? Is it a decorative block? I don't know. Let's just go to all blocks, search for light. Spotlight. There we go. Spotlight is... Yeah, I should be able to make spotlights. Okay. I just need construction components, interior plates, steel plates, and large steel tubes. So construction components, don't need the motors. Steel plates, steel tubes, don't need the small ones. Might need a few more of those. A few more of those. Interior plates. I need some of those, but I don't have. Ugh. Because of these. Those large steel tubes take up a lot of space. Alright. That sucks. That's big. Can I put it on the side? That's weird. It's going to get in the way of the... It looks like the suspension's in the way. Oh well. Need to get up there. I'm going to have to use my little bit of flying left. Go get more plates. Oh, look at that. Can I reach it from here? Nope. Okay. That's a little bit better. You can see a little bit more. It's just not run into everything. Let's change the power on those wheels. I also need to put a gyroscope thing on here or something. I don't know. Maybe, maybe not. It's fine. It'll be fine. Alright. So there we go. There's my truck. Oh, I should turn those headlights off. That's just going to waste battery power right now. Because I'm going to do some more. What else am I going to do? Do I need to do anything else? Nope, I think all I need to do now is just drive around and go find some minerals. Then I'll be good to go. So there we are. There's the newest update of how things are going. Getting a little bit more advanced in some of the things we're doing. And eventually maybe we'll get to flying that little escape pod around and turn it into a mining shuttle. But that's a dangerous fall right there. But that's a video for another day, and it's going to take a little while to get there. So until then, see you around and have a good time.